This is just AMZN on Tuesday, February 12th, 2019. Pre-market today, we got the gap up. That was what we were talking about yesterday in the video, making this into a larger inverted head and shoulders. And I really wanted it to get above 1607. It's kind of showing up as a little bit of a resistance here and a little bit of support in the lower 1600s. So, I mean, we're right here. We're right in this range. We'll see if we can get going, get above that, do any sort of retesting. The purple line is nothing on the 5 minute. It's only on the daily, and it's way lower than where this is showing. So let's get into the day and see what happens. The very first candle is an incredible hammer, pulls all the way back down below of 1598.88. This pivot point is pretty much where we got up to, where I thought this was going to turn into a double bottom. It's pretty much that pivot point here. And obviously it just pulled into 1600 and then it's bouncing. And so it opened right here at 1604, ran down, this is a retest, and then continued on higher. And so I really wanted this to be a bearish opening 5-minute candle, just to trap more bears because there's a lot of them already trapped here. But it turned into a bullish candle, which is fine. I was looking to get in bullish and had an entry set up on the, I think on the next candle, the one after this, looking for a little bit of a pullback into this range, or a breakout and a pullback into the range, and then to continue higher. I did not think 1607 was going to be much of a resistance once this candle came in. Clearly it wasn't. We broke above yesterday's high, broke above pre-market high, and I know the next line is at 1617.54, and that's easily a target, but it should go even further beyond that. And I would say by the end of the week, if not tomorrow, we should be hitting 1665, possibly getting into the 1700s this week with how strong this is moving up. So already we're right here, 1610. And I'm, again, looking for a pullback and not getting it. It just continues up. And very quickly, the first half hour of the day, it's run all the way up to 1617 already. This is the only bearishness you got in here besides the opening, sell-off in the first couple minutes or so. Everything else has been buying up except that candle. And all that did was pull back into the 5. So it's like, okay, any sort of rest, any sort of pullback, wait for it to pull back and just, kind of calm down and then get in bullish. This just continues on up and doesn't really show much signs of resting until you get in here in the 1620s. I really wanted this, again, to pull back to 1617.54. It didn't do that. It stayed above it. So most we got here was 15 minutes of selling. And it's just, I mean, if you had just gotten in 1607 by 1597, you're up 2R right now, just trading the stock. And you can be up further than that trading the options, So, looking for that great entry, still not getting it anywhere in here. Okay, here we go. It's come down a little bit. It's gone sideways a little bit. Is this enough of a rest in here? I don't know. This is one of those that I'd really like it to pull back a little bit more. I mean, this isn't even enough of a pullback compared to what this just did. I need this to touch the 21, maybe. Just do something to show that it's a pullback, that it's a rest. These upper wicks are saying it's not quite ready to go. So, okay, yeah, there we go. We're pulling back a little more. We're dancing on the 21. Well, now this is nice. We got a nice resistance here. Nice kind of top on these candles. We don't really have some upper wicks. People are thinking that this is going to sell. We got a lower wick here and a lower wick here. So those are getting bought back up. We're right on the 21. We've got this squeeze that is kind of forming. I call this a countdown squeeze, or kind of think of it like that. I saw one of these on another stock a while back. I want to say it was Facebook or something. And it literally went like a 3 and a 2 and a 1 squeeze, and then it like launched. It was crazy how strong it was. And when I see these happen, it kind of tells me, okay, it's getting ready to do something a little bigger. It's usually where the squeeze is kind of um, moving its momentum a little bit, and coming back into a squeeze pattern. So it means we were pretty close to forming a squeeze here. Then it broke down and pretty quickly got back into its squeeze mode, and then broke out because it looked like it was kind of starting to roll over, but then it didn't, and it came right back into its squeeze. So this is a really nice consolidation here. Some bears are trapped because they were going bearish here. They thought it was going to sell back off. Again, we didn't get back into the 1754. We're not going to get into it here. We haven't even really retested to a good level over in here during the day. So it's like, what's holding us up right here? And really, it's just this consolidation and just the candles here. So, reading these candles, and I guess we'll come back to it, you get this kind of bookends with a bearish candle, two bullish candles, a bearish candle, and then that should be kind of a continuation. It's kind of a rest after battle. It should continue lower, and it doesn't. It turns into a really small indecision and another really small candle. And these candles just consolidate even more. This turns into a little bit of a bigger stair step, and it's just waiting. It's just sideways, it's getting into the lunch hour here, or it has been in the lunch hour on the Eastern time zone. Now it could be getting ready to really move. And so I saw this forming. I think I checked it somewhere in here. I'm like, oh, that could be a great place to get in. And then sure enough, it started to break out in here, and I missed getting in. I didn't have it set up. I didn't jump into getting it set up. I'm just like, okay, there it goes again without me. And just continue it up the rest of the day. Let's zoom in on, and then after hours, it's already up to 1645. So all you had to do today was buy on a pullback, whether it was, after a few bearish candles, or getting in off of the 21, or, even buying here would have ended up higher on the day. So pretty much any time you bought today, as long as you put your stop below like a previous bearish candle. I guess the only exception would be if you were buying here, your stop shouldn't have been this close right here. But if you had waited to like get into this one, your stop wouldn't have been right underneath these. It would have been too close. It would have had to be below this one. So buying on, the largest bearish candle you could find, any of those would have been a great place to take it long. Kind of crazy how some of those days creep in. If we just look at today, you can see a little better this consolidation, these smaller candles in here. And they really just put in this nice resistance, right here around 1627.50. A nice high in there, made a really nice triangle consolidation, even started to move up a little bit, and then just kind of came back and kind of had a soft bounce off of the 5 and off of the breakout point, if you consider that, like 1627.24 here, and let's see, 16. Oh, these are almost tweezer tops. That's interesting. So we're breaking out above that. But even, this price, all that we really had to go off of was this resistance. So if anybody was looking for this being a double top, a retest, and then a rollover, I mean, that may be why some folks were getting bearish here. And it just didn't do that. This rest after battle didn't go bearish after it, to form a double top here. It was much stronger to be bullish today. So if we jump over to the 1650 call is what I was looking at. I liked that it had a nice small candle. The opening candle was almost $1, and I really didn't want to set it up so tight. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do 5 by 4. Once I think this candle formed, and then I had it set up during that candle, and even though it came into 495, it didn't fill my entry at 5. Doing it virtually, it just didn't work. If I had been doing real money, hopefully it would have, but 5 by 4 would have worked had it been filled, and I would have just holding on for the ride. It didn't really go too fast, even though it was moving aggressively bullish to 1617. It didn't really go too fast on the 1650 call, but I just like that risk to reward, pulled back nicely here. This would have been a great place to buy around 650. And if it had gotten down there again here, it stayed a little bit higher at 7. But then when this was breaking out, I'm like, oh man, an entry at like 750 by 650, like that would have been great. And then all of a sudden it was up here, it was breaking out. It's like, okay, I missed it. You know, when I saw the trade that I would have put on and didn't get in, it's like, all right, I'm just going to wait. I'll wait this one out and miss this one altogether, which is kind of a bummer because, you know, I had lost an arc going bullish yesterday, and then today was the day to take it bullish, you know. The other thing you could have been looking at the other option you could have been looking at was 1625. This one opened with a much larger candle, not huge by any means, but the range was a little more than $2. And so as this breaks out, the very next candle, this one's range is $1.80. But I mean, what are you going to do here? 12 by 11, maybe, and hope that it doesn't come back? I mean, it could really come all the way back to 10 or even 9 like it did here at the open. And what I should have been doing is looking for any sort of a bearish candle to get in on the option, and I didn't do that. So let me get this out of here. So had I done that, getting in either on the bearish candle or getting in on the breakout from it, that would have been like 13 by 12, or getting in here 13 by 12. That would have worked really nicely, getting into the 20s. You know, through this pullback and then bounced again, and then we put in a nice level of lows here around 17. And then over here could have been getting in as it starts to break out, like possibly 18 by 17 or 1850 by 1750, something like that. And just, you know, let that run higher. So being a Tuesday, the options are a little more expensive. Even though we opened in the low 1600s, 1625 was already, you know, this far up. I like that it opened around 10. I just didn't know how it was going to work with a $100 risk when it was a Tuesday and already crossed the $10 price, you know. So that was just, you know, what I didn't want to get into. I didn't want to risk too much, even though I was very confident it was going to go bullish, you know. If I was wrong, I didn't want to lose more than an R, and I could have been risking 2 or 3 depending on, you know, how that was going to how that candle was going to form there. So for the bears, nothing really got going, you know, just lost value all day long. So when we were looking at this yesterday, what's kind of ironic is the purple line very closely resembles the neckline, and this was a great bounce off of it. So this is the bigger, you know, this is the bigger inverted head and shoulders, and we opened and ran. Didn't really get much of a retest today, which was unfortunate. The retest was that opening 5-minute candle. That was all that really happened. So we're going up. This is a great, really strong candle. It's a bullish gap and go. It's taking out the high of this candle and this candle. We're past the 21 exponential. And let's see, the close and the high, they're about $1 apart. So not a shaved top. But I love that it's bouncing off of this downtrend channel. And I really think this suggests strongly that we could continue on up. The squeeze had fired, and it's kind of re-squeezing. So again, my anticipation is this should continue higher, get into 1665, then get back up here into the highs, and maybe we'll rest there and see if we can come back down to 1665, then get going. But you can see how well 1665 has worked as a resistance through here. I don't expect that to happen the rest of the week. I think we're going to get past that. I think this gap and this move already are that strong that it should continue higher right on through that. We could be gapping up and opening up here, which would be a bullish retest gap, which means we could pull back a little bit, maybe to 1650, and then continue on up. But I would expect a bullish candle tomorrow. I could be wrong, and it could fade. So, you know, it could fade from 1665. So I guess we'll just have to revisit the chart tomorrow, see how it works out. Hope you enjoyed this video. This is Justin AMZN. Thanks.